Windy Bill here, and today we're going to be looking at what I have with me when I'm exploring out and about by myself all the time. It's always with me. When you explore by yourself, you have to be prepared, because if you break down, you don't have a buddy that can drive you out. So, let's start with the back of the vehicle. High lift jack. High lift jack is a fantastic jack, although I don't have it in a vehicle right now. I normally also carry a small bottle jack that I can put under the axle. I have a small adapter used a pipe fitting and a piece of metal that works like a U shape that goes under the axles, and it gives you a real sturdy mount. Use that sometimes for tire changing, but on this rig the high lift works good for that too. But the high lift is not for changing tires. I wouldn't say that's at all what it's for. A high lift is an industrial farm jack. And it sounds strange, but this is to get you out of predicaments that you got yourself into. Probably something place that, that don't look like a good idea going that way, but it'll make a great video. So, yeah, been there. So the good thing about the high lift, if you need to move your vehicle forward, backwards, if you're high centered in the middle and your vehicle is trying to play turtle, where all four wheels will spin, you can't touch the ground, high lift is fabulous for that. You go to the back and you jack it up as high as you pretty much can, or as high as you need. And the back tires are now off the ground. Now if you want, you can go find stuff and throw under the tires, rocks and stuff, to allow you to back up. That way you're not using the jack. Or if you put the jack all the way up and you put it at the back on the back bumper of the vehicle or the back trailer hitch, not inside the trailer hitch, but on it, under it, you just put it in front wheel drive and back up, or four wheel drive and back up. And it'll cause the jack will collapse underneath your vehicle. You'll kind of back over it. It'll fall over, and you're off the high center section. You're ready to make another try at it. Maybe this time you need to stack rocks or go faster. A lot depends on the terrain and the situation. A lot of times if you've got somebody driving that's unfamiliar, they'll slow down real slow, and boom, as soon as it gets barely high centered, you're done. Where if you hit it at like 5 miles an hour, you would have just slid over it. Next, shovel. You always need a shovel. I don't care what you're doing. If you're buried in the sand, if you can shovel out either from behind the wheels, all four of them, or in front of the wheels, all four of them, you can usually put it in low range four-wheel drive and drive out. If you didn't lower your air pressure, now's the time to do it. And get out and do it. Next we have, it's an axe grubbing hoe. These are the tools from the fire service. And it's an axe on one side. And that's that cat that just walked by. One real cool kitty. And if you have to, you can use the axe to cut firewood, split firewood, cut a branch, blocking the road, You can do a lot. The grubbing hoe, which is fairly sharp, is like a Pulaski. That's what we called them in the fire service. And hey, if you're stuck on an embankment and you got to knock that embankment down and it's got dirt and rocks and pebbles and junk in it, you can go at it with that. And that'll work really good. I got stuck one day where I went in, didn't put it in four-wheel drive. Me being I can do it in two-wheel. It's where a railroad abutment was. When I got stuck, I slid over sideways in the gully, which put the back of my vehicle 12 inches inside the cut of the canyon, which was a sheer wall. Can't go forward, can't go backwards, so I had to do some digging, and that came in handy. Okay, the next thing is a four-way lug wrench. Four-way lug wrench is how you take your tires off if you don't have an end pack. Well, even if you do have an end pack, they're battery powered, batteries can go dead, so you need to have that. Base plate for the jack. Base plate for the jack, if you're trying to jack yourself up on mud or sand, that really helps. Recovery boards. Not a real big necessity item. It's a nice item. If you can get out using recovery boards, you're not stuck. You're just temporarily delayed. You know, everybody talks about it. You've got all the four-wheel drive recovery people, and they say, if you can get out with recovery boards, you're not stuck. And I've got to agree with them. They're a means to get you going again. I've gotten the truck stuck. It's a two-wheel drive. I don't know how many times. I'm going to say hundreds of times over the past 3 years. And you dig out around the tire, you stuff the boards under it, and you go. You may have to do that 3 or 4 times to get across the wash, but usually you get enough momentum off the jump of that board, you can get all the way across the sand wash without having to do it again. But it all depends, but they're nice to have. It's better than waiting and sitting for help. Let me tell you a little story. Story time with Bill. Story time with Bill. You know, today we have the luxury joys of cell phones, spot transmitters, help locators, people that will come out and rescue you, everything. So, people aren't as scared to go out. I can remember, if everybody remembers and thinks about it, Saline Valley. They used to say, if you're going to Saline Valley, bring at least 2 to 3 spare tires. And a way to air up your tires. And a way to plug them. Well, Saline Valley used to be what we called in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you would leave and go to Saline Valley. You would never pass a person on the road. You would rarely ever see another person. You could stay out there for a week like I did with my dad in our 57 Ford station wagon and then 63 Ford station wagon. And we could stay out there for a week. It was fabulous. Never see nobody. He had a lot of friends out in that area, old prospectors. But when you got stuck or you broke down, It was all on you, baby. It was just it. It wasn't teet, 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 teet. Help. No, didn't have that. Satellite? Nope, didn't have that either. You were there until you got yourself out. If you were lucky, somebody might come by and help you. So back then you carried a lot of spare parts. You carried belts. You carried ignition coil. You carried points for the distributor. Electrical wire. Assortment of tools. You became very mechanically inclined to your vehicle. Of course, they wasn't computerized circuit boards, electronic things. They were things that you could figure out and fix, which was good. High lift jack came in very much hand. We used it all the time for getting unstuck. We didn't have these plastic boards, but we always carried 2 pieces of 3/4 inch plywood that had 2 plywood strips glued to the bottom and screwed in. And that was our recovery boards that they were homemade. My dad liked to either glue down rubber rough conveyor belt or carpeting or something on top of it to give better traction. But we always had those. We didn't have the base plate for the high lift. Nobody made them back then, so that was made out of a piece of 3/4 inch plywood. And tools and parts, and we'd go out. Minimum 2 spare tires, never less. But we always made it home. Today you don't have to worry, it's not as bad. Saline Valley? Myself and best friend took a brand new Jeep to Saline Valley. We went into Death Valley, we drove up, went to the crater, went past the crater, and then took the road going down into Saline Valley. We had big gullies, big washes, everything. Of course, we had our recovery boards, we had our jack with us. I had her loaded for bear back then. And yeah, we made it with no problem. When we left, it started snowing on us on our way back down. But it was good. So now let's talk about what I carry all the time in the wintertime. By the way, winter, summer, some stuff changes. I do have a lot in my vehicle this time of year. And I have mine packed in a way to keep it clean and to make it more convenient to use. Igloo water container. Igloo water container can be very handy. I think it's 2.5 gallons, or 5, I'm not sure. Yankum rope, 2 good soft shackles. I carry 4. Convenient. More plate. 4-way hose setup for airing up all 4 tires at one time. In addition, I have a built-in air compressor, so I carry a hose to go from the air compressor to the more plate. I love these more plates The one thing I do not like, but I do like, but I do not like, is you see this gauge here? This gauge runs on batteries. So, you air up your tires, you get your tires aired up, you shut the valve off, go around, disconnect it from the air compressor, go to put it away. After you get it all disconnected and ready to roll it up, open up the valve, let the pressure off. Otherwise, as the sun heats it up, the gauge turns on, it'll run your battery dead. Carry a second gauge. You can always air it up to where it looks right, shut it off, turn it on, stick this on the end here, and look at the gauge and it'll tell you how much air is in it. It's a backup. It's always in the kit with me. Oh, got one person that just got one low tire that's flat. Carry one of these. Single tire chuck. You can plug it right into your air hose and you don't have to get everything out. Having a way to air down and air up is important. Good, bad, cheap, expensive, it don't matter, as long as you have a way. Tools. People ask me what to carry. Well, carry a set of sockets and a set of open-end box wrench combination, from the tiniest one you can go to all the way up to about 3/4 of an inch. If you don't know how to use them, well, still carry them. Sometimes it's a matter of just tightening up a bolt. And if you have to, you can figure out how to tighten up a bolt. Get a service manual for your vehicle. It might give you some ideas. Not a lot you can fix on new electronic vehicles, but you got vehicles. Okay, what I have in this box all right, neighbors just came over, see what was up. This is a box that people don't really always need to carry. It's my recovery box. I got an extra strap in there. I've got a tree protector, 2 ratchet straps, a tape measure, a roll of duct tape, 6x6 tarp, vest, and an ARB tire plugging kit. And it works good. And this is more for recovery work. Roll of paper towels, always handy to have. The bigger box you see next to it, that's got 2 sleeping bags. It's got a overnight food bag pouch. It's got 2 freeze-dried meals, a dinner and a breakfast, and some packs of crackers and goodies to eat. So you break down and you get stuck, whatever. You know, spending the night not that bad. You can sit in your seat, in your sleeping bag, stay warm, get some sleep. Easy way to stay warm. Have a good sleeping bag. Got 5 gallons of gas. That'll be going on top of the roof rack eventually. That foam pad, that's what I use underneath my floor mat. So we will be carpeting and soundproofing this thing eventually. Got a 2-foot axe, 60 feet of rope, saw, handsaw, and a campfire extinguisher. I do have a fire extinguisher for the vehicle up on the roll cage, but this is for when you're set up and in camp. 2 chalk blocks, as my parking brake is not functional at this time. It will be. I got the parts on order for that. They'll be here. The impact wrench, it's in the truck right now for a job. It usually goes right in that corner there. And a good first aid kit. Very important. Like I said, a lot of old school. But this is pretty much it. The reason spending the night. Okay, I call my son-in-law and daughter up and say, hey, I'm out here in the Mojave Preserve, over by such and such cabin. I'm broke down. I need you to come bring me some parts, or bring me some gas, or bring me whatever. Come give me a tow, whatever I need, they can do. But, so I want them trying to figure out how to get there in the middle of the night when it's dark. No. You know what? Be out here around sunrise, get an early morning start, and then come get me. Let's make it daylight where you can see where you're going. But again, what did I have to do that? Had to have a phone. Now the spot allows me to send text messages. So I can send them text messages. So that helps through satellite. But for them to receive them, they still have to have phone service. So before they get out of phone service area, make sure you got good directions for them. Very important. Alright, that's pretty much going to wrap up this video. People, is when you go out, be prepared. Maps. Yes, I do all my mapping on the computer, on my tablet. I got a lot of good maps. I got the X maps. Got Google Earth. Got Google Maps. You name it. Refer to all of them. Very important. But when the batteries go dead, they quit working. Bring a paper map. I have a pouch, and I always have a map of the area I'm going to in that pouch. Also, if somebody else has got that same map, you can give them landmarks that are on the map to help them find you. So, the way I make sure of that, every map I have 2 copies of. One copy is in my pouch, and the other copy is sitting on the shelf in the office. If I call them for help, I say, bring the map for Northern Nevada. Bring the map for Southern Nevada. Bring the map for the Mojave Preserve. Wherever. And that way we have maps that correspond to each other. It helps. Alright, I hope this could be helpful to you guys. And we always have the jump start box, whichever vehicle we're out in. So that helps too. Thank you for watching. Everybody have a great blessed day.